Listeners of the deep below, we welcome you to a new story, and as always, ask you to visit the author's work, as well as visit us on other social media platforms. Welcome to the story. Don't get me wrong, all humans can become a monster, as you do say. Some say that it is a race or gender, or some other thing that makes them against the stereotype. But that is not what I mean. Call me X, and I turned someone into a monster by my careless actions. I went to school in a small town, and not too often did anything more than supplies come to town. And we had this kid. Something was always off with her. I never bothered to learn her name, as she was very much a freak. A 9-year-old at the time, when I first noticed her, and she did not act like anyone else her age. She always was singing her brown-haired, pale-skinned head off to herself. I did not get them. How could they be so happy? Yet at the same time, they always were so quiet and empty during school. They did not have many friends from what I knew, and the ones she did have were in different classes and out for recess at different times. She ate by herself whenever possible and sang just the same. I noticed a lot of the others made fun of her or used her, so I joined them without regret. It was fun at first, don't get me wrong. Turns out the crybaby could not tell on us. She knew it was useless to tell on us, so she just let us use her to play the Huggy Bear game. In a nutshell, it was much like tag, but to become it, the person as it has to hug you. And she always started, but truth be told, we were never letting her not become it. Sometimes it got physical. One guy tackled her, but I always overheard her talking to someone, and no one was there. Several times, I just sat in the back and watched the kids making fun of her, using her mind against her, just being jackrabbits to her as a whole. But at the same time, something always felt like she deserved it. But one day the kids seemed off. It had been going on for about 3 years now, but this was the first time I have ever seen them act so shifty. When the time came for us to give her our bullcrap, she grabbed my arm hard. I swore that she had started to break it. She laughed and laughed and laughed. Her eyes seemed to glow a blood-curdling red, and her teeth were sharp like wood nails. Everyone was afraid of her at once, but only I could see what she was doing. She yelled out. Her voice, which had always been whiny and high-pitched, was a very unsettling, deep tone. It sounded like TV static and bloodthirsty. I could not help but scream out in pain, but my voice was drowned by the hundreds that seemed to come from nowhere. I looked her in the eyes, tears falling down her face, before an evil smile reached across her ugly face. She knew what she was doing, as she slammed me into one of the other students. Blood covered them from cuts from some unknown source. Behind her shoulder, I swore I saw something looming behind them. But it did not matter. She stepped down on my hips and stomped over and over and over again until I could not stand. She had gone completely insane. She had become a monster. The other kids ran as staff called for a way to restrain her, and she turned to face me. Something about her was different. Her skin had been growing more and more pale. Her eyes kept darkening until they turned black, and I swore, looking into them, I could feel every bit of pain she had been, tears flowing down her face. You made me monster. You made me monster. You deserve to die. Now I can never go home. They will never love me for being a monster. I was stuttering, praying to the Lords that I might just be spared. I told her that they would. They were her family. They would understand. But I could tell that she had no family to turn back to. And as she put her hands around my neck, I knew the same fate awaited me. I cried as I felt my soul leave my body and fall into a dark, hollow emptiness. I felt rage. It was uncontrolled. It was not me. But when my soul awoke, the only words to escape my mouth were, "Die, you filthy monster." And behind me, the only other thing I could hear was her laughter.